The following is a paid advertisement. The views expressed are the sole responsibility of the advertiser.
I'm attorney Justin Clark. Coming up just out on You Up Real Estate, we meet the Fischer family, the first family of Central Florida real estate. Also, you have hail damage. There's something you can do right now. I'll tell you what it is. It's just ahead. It's You Have Real Estate. Your debt does not have to control your life. You have the power to potentially lower or even eliminate your debt. I'm attorney Justin Clark. Call me now for a free consultation or visit youhavepower.com and take back control of your financial life. Welcome to You Have Real Estate with me, attorney Justin Clark. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, seasoned investor, or even looking to sell your home, this next 30 minutes is designed just for you. Think of it like hitting multiple open houses, all from your living room, with my attorney advice throughout the way. Any questions whatsoever during the program, the phone number is right here on the screen, 407-205-0400. You want to start your house hunt for that dream home this weekend, you will need a pre-approval letter. Dallas Lame is standing by right now with the same phone number to get you pre-approved so you can go find that dream home. An excellent show just ahead for you, but first, the opening statement. We talk about hurricanes in this state all the time. All summer long, it's hurricane. It did damage to my house. Let's be honest, we've had some hailstorms over the last few weeks that have done a significant amount of damage to your home. How do you handle that damage? You're starting to see leaks in your roof. You have questions about the damage, questions about what to do about the damage. We're going to answer those questions by asking real questions. Every Saturday here on the program, we ask real questions to the truly trend-setting people in Central Florida's real estate community. We kick it off today to talk about those hailstorms with our great friends from Universal. Justin's here, Corey's here. What's up, guys?
Good to see you again.
Man, happy to be back.
Yeah.
So it's weird because hurricanes people talk about all the time, but these these storms that roll through, like 60, 70 mile an hour winds, and then this hail come through, no one really talks about that damage. I mean, how does the damage in a hailstorm compare to a hurricane?
It's just as significant. It really can be. It doesn't have that immediate, oh my gosh, get tarps on the roof, you're going to start leaking kind of damage and impact. But what hail does to a roof is it will drastically decrease the age of that. And then within about 6 months to a year, then you start having those dramatic leaks happening all throughout the roofing system. And hail is not only going to impact your roof. I mean, we've been doing so many inspections lately where people's cars are getting destroyed, their screen enclosures, their windows are shattering. If they're coming through skylights, if it's a big enough stone. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that happens during a hailstorm, and it doesn't get the glory that hurricanes do, but man, it's just as impactful as a hurricane most times.
Yeah, and Corey, you think about, like in my legal world, a car accident, a lot of times you get rear-ended, you don't feel your back pain for 3 or 4 or 5 days. A hailstorm might have the same effect on your roof where, yes, it's not going to start leaking immediately, but you're going to see it down the road, right? I mean, it sneaks up on you.
It does. And I think people put that storm in the back seat for that reason. They just kind of don't jump on it. People are afraid to file claims. They don't think that the roof was truly damaged. And as Justin said, what happens is when a hailstone hits an asphalt shingle in particular, it creates a bruise and it breaks down the fiberglass matting, and essentially you have an open wound on the roof, and over time those granules just start coming down. So roofs that have been hit by hail, sooner rather than later, you're going to start seeing all those granules in your gutters and down by the garage door and all that. And it's exposing that matting, which can crack and fade and cause all sorts of issues. But people don't see the urgency in it. They're going to pay more attention to the broken window or the dents in the car, those kind of things, because of the cosmetic aspect of it. But absolutely, the degradation of your roof from that point comes pretty quick. And that's why, insurance companies really do pay attention to it. We meet these adjusters every day on these roof claims, and they're marking, the hail impact marks just as they would wind damage from a hurricane. So it is definitively a damaged roof.
Yeah, and if you've had any hail, you need to really look into what it did to your roof. I have a QR code on the screen to connect you directly with Justin and Corey, or call the phone number if you prefer, 407-205-0400. So there's not any leaking. I had a big hailstorm in my neighborhood. On my house, I could hear it.
Sure.
It's not leaking, But when is the right time to call to make sure everything's okay?
Immediately.
Really?
Especially if you were there and you lived through the storm event. I mean, you know it more than anybody. A lot of people take videos of when it's happening, things like that. Regardless of size, duration, or anything, we want to be able to get on that roof and inspect for damage. Okay, so we want to be able to go there, see exactly what's happened on your roof, and we look at everything on the property. I mean, we're checking for what's called collateral damage, because a lot of times we meet these adjusters and stuff like that, and we need that collateral damage around the property to kind of tie into the hailstorm as well, that for the damage on the roof. So if you think about it, if a hail hits your asphalt shingle, and we're going to argue that the roof is damaged because of that, there's going to be damage around the property as well that you don't think about. Those downspouts, the cars, the screens, and stuff like that. So getting claims filed and things like that and inspections done on the front end of it when the storm's very relevant. And keep in mind too, statute of limitations are getting tighter and tighter and tighter for policyholders of when how long they have to file the claim against a certain storm event. So getting on the front end of it, being proactive, obviously it's going to serve your claim better, it's going to serve your house better, and you're not going to have to go so far out that your roof is now going to start affecting the interior of your home. You can get ahead of it, way ahead of the curve.
Yeah. And I think there are a lot of headlines here throughout Florida about insurance and weird things happening, of course. If I call Universal, you come out there, are you going to help me kind of through that process, or do I have to do it on my own? How does that work? Do I call you first, or who do I call?
Yeah, I think it's important that you get somebody I think the word is trust, who's going to give you an honest assessment of the roof to tell you what the next step is. What we do, we're trained in storm damage. We look at it, you either have it or you don't. And hail comes in lines. I remember a couple years ago, you'd be on one side of the road and it would be completely destroyed roof, and the roof across the street wasn't touched. Yeah. And so, everyone's seeing the insurance wave happen, so everybody feels like they should call, or some of these roofers go door knocking and tell everybody to call their insurance company. We just simply don't do that. We come, and that's why the inspection is so important. We're going to give you that honest assessment of, yes, you were affected, and we think that, we should meet an adjuster out here to be able to show them the damage, or, you know what, you really weren't touched. I don't think you should have to go through the hassle. You got plenty of years left on the roof, and, call us when another storm happens.
But so I literally don't know anything about roofs, and I'm not going to go up on the roof, and the adjuster comes over. I don't know what to tell them. So you're telling me that you can actually talk to them or show them what your findings are. I just came from an adjuster appointment to here. So sorry if I'm still a little sweaty. No, that's okay. I don't smell anything at all.
No, I get on the roof with the adjuster. There's a little bit of a song and dance there. You always want to be respectful. These guys do know what they're doing. But essentially, we want to make sure that they see what we see before they leave. Right. And really, ultimately, it's up to a desk adjuster most of the time. Yeah. But we want to just make sure that the roof is being reported. Like I was walking around with this gentleman saying, hey, don't you agree that this is a wind damaged shingle? And he did. We're not trying to pull the wool over anybody's eyes. It's facts.
I think that is so important, having Universal on that roof with that adjuster. I mean, this could save you a year or two of litigation, or $20,000, $30,000 having to pay out of your pocket, because, Justin, the lingo to talk to the insurance adjuster, whereas the homeowner simply does not. You know what to point out.
Not only the lingo, but like Corey said, I mean, there's ways to kind of pass off mechanical damage as storm damage, and these adjusters are incredibly smart. And like Corey says, nobody's trying to fool anybody here, but when you actually have a trained, certified eye on there that knows the same language, knows the same, evidence as an insurance adjuster, that just goes a long way in showing that you're working transparently with your insurance company. And it's a very simple, smooth process. It's one we've had adopted in our company for many, many years, and we work very transparently with the insurance company. The only thing out of your pocket at the end of the day, once it gets approved, is your insurance deductible, and we don't waive that. That's part of your deal.
I actually think another reason to call quick is, let's say the hailstorm hit your house last week and you don't do anything. Well, 5 months from now, a hurricane hits your house. Then you decide to call. Now you've got a hurricane deductible you're looking at. If you call now, it'll be a normal policy deductible based on a hailstorm, which could save you thousands and thousands of dollars on the roof if you get an approved claim.
So it is a good idea that if you're a policyholder, just take a look at your declarations page, because we are getting into storm season. We're only weeks away from hurricane season kicking off. Kind of get a good idea of what you're looking at in this upcoming storm season in the event we do get hit by something.
I agree, because if it's a hurricane versus a different type of storm, it can make a big difference for you financially with the deductible. QR code is right here. All you have to do is face your phone at it, and an email will be sent directly to Justin and Corey. They come out for free. You can say you saw them right here. They looked handsome, whatever you want to tell them. It's fine.
Say that.
But the key is they're fantastic at what they do, and it's not going to cost you a single penny. Or call this phone number, and I'll connect you with them right now, 407-205-0400. Now, there are times where people have roof damage, and it's simply related to old age. It's not a storm. It is what it is. Don't try to commit insurance fraud. It's not worth it. Trust me. What you guys have done at Universal Roof and Contracting in regards to making these payments very affordable for people makes getting a new roof affordable for everyone.
Exactly. It's not always an insurance claim. And we've talked about that before. And there's plenty of times where you're just up against the gun of needing a new roof sooner rather than later. And so we have payment plan options. We have great financing options. This is something that Justin and I can do sitting at your kitchen table with you in a matter of minutes to help you not be painted into a corner financially to have to get this roof that's going to protect your greatest asset. So we can take care of that and certainly come up with options to make it something that's not going to pull food off your table just to get some new shingles, right?
What's nice about that too is that right now a lot of policyholders are being sent non-renewals, not because of storm damage, but also just because of the age of the roof. And they do get backed into a corner. And these non-renewals don't come with a very generous lead time for you to work with. That's right. So if you need a flexible tool like financing, that's absolutely on the table for you to utilize.
And it concerns me because people think that getting a new roof is super expensive, and it's not cheap. I mean, that's for sure, but it worries me that the other damage that can be created to the entire home if they neglect the roof. What are some of the things you see?
I mean, my goodness. I mean, just think about it. The roof is an investment, but everything that roof is protecting is far more expensive, right? So, I mean, we've seen water intrusion create just ceiling collapses. And one of the biggest concerns, especially here in Florida, only two things that mold needs to grow is heat and moisture. And a leaky roof can provide plenty of both. And a lot of times homeowners just are unaware of what's happening either in their attic or in their baseboards. We see things where leaks can occur and water intrusion can occur that may not even result in a ceiling stain, but it's happening below your feet or in your baseboards or between the framing. So really it's just, I mean, anything and everything could happen with starting all with the leaky roof.
The other thing too is, I mean, I've been to a few homes recently where it's not the roof.
Yeah.
You know, it was an AC leak.
Oh, really?
Or a plumbing leak or a bad window, something like that. And it's, seeped in through the stucco and it's caused floor damage or wall damage. And, the immediate thought is, we've had some storms, it's raining, and it's just not the roof. And so, again, that's another reason why this free inspection is so important is,
huge.
You might not need a new roof, you might need a new AC.
I always find it fascinating that a lot of roofing companies are giving quotes from their office, never see the house. They're like, well, we have this image from Google Earth or something, and they're going to quote your roof, right? I mean, people are doing that.
Oh, a ton of them. I mean, there's so many roofing contractors now that just kind of operate that way, and as a standard, we just refuse to. I mean, we're going to schedule an appointment around your convenience, and we're going to show up on time. I mean, that's the time that you have set aside for us to be there, and we're going to respect that. So we show up on time, and we give yourself, 2 to 3 hours of dedicated time to make sure we're solving your problem correctly and serving your needs the best. And that's just the way we like to approach things here.
Keep up the great work. Justin, Corey, always a pleasure. Universal Roof and Contracting. QR code here, phone number here, 407-205-0400. Where in this world are we heading with this real estate market right now? It's just ahead as You Have Real Estate continues.
You can be an agent that struggles to get ahead in the competitive real estate world, or you can learn from the best and achieve success. Visit youhaveafutureinrealestate.com and sign up for the Jumpstart program. Get coaching tips and important tools that will help you jumpstart your real estate career. Sign up today and get 10% off your Jumpstart program when you use code word LEARN. Visit youhaveafutureinrealestate.com today and gain the real estate knowledge you need to succeed.
If you have money sitting around and you don't know what to do, or you have a financial advisor who you don't trust or who's not explaining things to you and you don't know what to do, I do know what to do. You call my good buddy John Ledford, Fortress Wealth Group. It's not one size fits all. You get to know your clients from the very beginning, and you know exactly where they are now, where they want to be. It's super important.
Yeah, so the cornerstone really of any financial plan is really about knowledge, intimacy, and really understanding what's important to people. And although a lot of people say investment returns are super important and they can't be minimized, study after study shows that other things are a lot more important. And they say they value an advisor who knows them and knows how to apply expertise to their situation more than anything else. And that's something that have really been built on as a firm.
Of course, and you're doing a fantastic job, but also people don't understand. It's not all about, I made 7% last year. It's also, and a huge cornerstone of what you do is you save money on the taxes, which adds to that return.
Yeah, we find very few advisors are tax forward in their thinking, or even tax backward. They're just not involved at all. We find very few accountants and CPAs are really seeking for strategies to help their clients. And as we've talked about before, the IRS says that 30% of business owners overpay, most businesses overpay by 30%.
Yeah.
And so if we can enter a relationship and start with saving you lots of money, which is typically what happens, then we find that the relationship just continues to go swimmingly from that point forward.
What's different in calling you right now versus calling the big TV commercial people?
So I like how you frame that, the big TV. They're very unpersonal, so I like that side of it. But the big difference is if you're an advisor who is at one of those companies, right? You not only don't provide tax advice, you're not allowed in most cases to provide tax advice. It's specific to their contract with that company that there's a line they cannot cross. Right. And so if you're a registered investment advisor, which we are, and you're not affiliated with one of those companies, which we're not, we're truly unbiased. We work for our clients and our family. That's our only marching orders. And whereas some of those companies do a good job of analyzing that that thin slice of the tax code, we look at the whole tax code.
I love it,
and
Jeff.
If it's available, we're going to make it work.
We trust you. You should trust them as well. Fortress Wealth Group. QR code is on the screen, or call the phone number. You will not regret this very important decision. Welcome back to the show. It's not often that I bump into a real estate agent in my regular professional life, and I think they do such a great job for me that I say, you got to come on the show. Well, that happened. Wendy Fischer's here. Hello, Wendy. How are you?
Hi, good.
You're so professional, so good at what you do. I said, you got to come on the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
And you brought a fine gentleman with you. Who is this guy over here to my right?
This is my husband, Arthur Fischer.
A husband-wife team in real estate?
Yes,
is that what I'm hearing here?
Dynamic duo.
And what is it like working as a married couple in real estate?
Sometimes great, sometimes challenging, as husband and wives can live together, same thing. Working together, we kind of had a good balance because he likes to go out and show the properties, the expertise with the building of the home, whereas I kind of focus on the contracts and the data in the office. But I love to show families homes as well.
Got it. All right, what I've noticed recently is a lot of people who have really gotten used to renting, gotten used to being tenants. And a lot of these landlords right now are not extending leases because they want to sell the properties because the market has been so good. And I'm trying to show them how they can buy a house and how buying is better than leasing. How do you feel about someone who's been leasing buying a home?
There's so many aspects we could talk about. So first of all, the landlord wants to thank them because you're making the landlord rich.
Right.
They love good tenants. Why don't you purchase? Because a lot of people don't understand your payments on a purchase are generally fixed over the life of living there. Yes, you have taxes that go up. Yes, your insurance goes up, but it really doesn't affect your payment that much. But anybody listening to the show knows, what has their rent payment done the last 5 years? It hasn't gone up a little, it's gone up a lot.
Skyrocketed.
That's correct. And that is more profit for that owner of the apartment or house they're renting. So not only that, when they buy a house, are they aware that most of their payments tax deductible? So not only do you usually pay less to own the house than renting, but now you create a tax write-off that comes back to you at the end of the year. A few shows ago, you had an expert on talking about taxes. This is a great way to reduce your taxes. Own a property. Enjoy the American dream, home ownership.
Got it. When you talk to buyers right now, Wendy, and they say, well, the rates were only 3% last year or 2 years ago. Now it's 6%. I can't bring myself to buy. What do you say to that person?
It's all relevant because in the past couple years, we had the rates down here and the house prices up here. Now the rates have gone up, but the house prices have come down. We're not having all those bidding wars that we've had where people are bidding $20,000, $50,000 over on the homes. You do have multiple offers still, but it's more reasonable. So it's still a great time to buy.
Yeah, if you're a buyer now, this is for both of you. If you're a buyer, what are some concessions you can ask for from a seller right now in this day and age?
From a seller, you could ask them to possibly contribute to your closing costs, but the sellers are still kind of in that driver's seat where they know they're going to probably have multiple offers. They can get their price. So you can, just maybe work some incentives on your closing date. And not many sellers are contributing to the closing costs except for the builders. So the builders right now will pay all or most of the buyer's closing costs. So new home construction is great. The sales rep for the builder represents the builder. So I always suggest that a buyer uses a realtor, whether it's us or their favorite realtor, whoever it is. There's lots of business to go around. So, we don't have to think that we're exclusive, but we're happy to help anybody.
I think, Art, it's a fascinating question with someone who's buying a house right now, whether to buy an existing home or buy new construction from one of these big builders. What are some of the pros and cons of going either way?
Great question. It's all exciting to build your own house. It's creativeness. You get to pick the colors you want, the styles you want, the exact location you want, the exact location in the subdivision, the exterior colors, the roof style, whatever you like, you pick. As Wendy was saying, you don't pay for our cost as a realtor, but that person, when you walk into a new home subdivision, they represent the builder. Who represents you, the buyer? The answer is nobody. You're on your own. We can represent you, and our cost is free. How do you beat free?
Yeah.
And not only that, we can negotiate a transaction that gets you actually paid to buy the house. So not only are you beating free, you're getting paid to do it. As far as the resale market goes, it's a little challenging right now. Someone brought up the lower interest rates. If you've got a 2.5% mortgage, 2.75%, you're not that anxious to sell your home and take on a new higher interest rate mortgage. So they're not putting their home on the market. Hence the reason we have a shortage of homes. Law of supply and demand. If you have a strong demand, which we do in Central Florida, there's a limited supply. What happens to the price? Goes up. So there's the builders to fill that void. The last thing that's really interesting about buying a new home is you can buy it today with a small deposit. By the time the house is finished, the price has gone up tremendously, whatever the amount is, $15,000, $20,000, $30,000. You've given $5,000 to $10,000 to hold the house. It's already made you $20,000, $30,000 by the time you closed. You've already doubled your money before you even close on it.
Right.
You have people on that talk about 5%, 10%. That's doubling your money. How do you beat that?
It's a pretty good thing.
You do it with new homes all the time.
Is that right? Do you think there's any group of people out there who put deposits down on new construction and hope it goes up and then they just back out if it doesn't? I've never thought about that.
Kind of, but you're missing it a little bit.
Yeah.
They're under contract.
Yeah.
They buy it.
That's a good point.
They buy it, and if they don't close on it, they lose their deposit.
Yeah.
But what you have is a new flipper.
Right.
So the old flipper used to buy a house that was in distress, fix it up, and flip it. Now you got the new one who comes along who buys a new house, gets it built. The prices increase so much, they flip the new house, and they make their money that way.
Yeah.
And there's inventory out there to get. And the builders are still very competitive.
How do you think, Wendy, when you're buying new construction from a builder, do they kind of hide the ball when it comes to upgrades a little bit or no?
That's a good question, Justin, because a lot of buyers ask that. They'll walk through the new construction home and see all the nice granite and the curtains, and they say, they know, buyers now are savvy. They read a lot on the internet. They know what they're looking for. They know what to watch out for. So they'll ask, is this what we're going to get? Or is this is this an upgrade?
Right.
What do we get? So we'll go through that with them, with the builder, with the builder's sales rep. and we will work them through that process of what is included in this home and what's not included. And as for us, we put our money where our mouth is. We have bought in the past couple of years 4 homes. So ourselves, besides, the one we're living in, but we bought a couple investment properties. One we flipped because we saw the market was good. We saw it was going to be skyrocketing. So we had the insight to say, okay, we're going to buy a home and we're going to flip it by the time it's finished.
Tell them how much we made on that flip home.
$200,000.
Oh, wow.
So we sold it within a day, and we purchased it in Windermere. We won't say the exact location. We saw that the market was good there. We listed it. We closed on it, signed the closing papers, listed it the next day, got a buyer right away, and sold it for $200,000 profit.
I love it. Art and Wendy Fischer, what a pleasure it was to have you both on the program today. If you'd like to look at new construction, it costs you nothing to have them, or you want to talk to them about buying or selling real estate, 407-205-0400. Pleasure to see you. Pleasure to meet you. Thanks for coming. Come back in anytime, okay? And thank you to our WKMG-based crew as always. You guys are top notch. Most importantly, thank you for joining me every weekend. I'll see you again next weekend for more You Have Real Estate. As we enter hurricane season, is your house protected? Is your family protected? Those windows on your home are so important. Renewal by Andersen is here. Dan Brigman, how are you, Dan? Good to see you.
I'm doing great, Justin. Thanks for asking.
A lot of people have memories of hurricanes, and do they just hear the windows going like this and this? I mean, a lot of windows out there are not safe right now. What should we do?
First thing you got to do is you got to have somebody out and have those windows inspected. Look, if you've had even just a windstorm come through and you've heard the vibration or even the whistle of the wind, you need to have us out. We need to look at it.
The QR code is on the screen right now. Dan brought a special gift for only you. Dan, if they hit the QR code, what are you going to offer?
I was afraid you were going to ask me that, but we've got the brand new Coastal product out, and we are doing something that will happen again, and it's buy one and get 40% off the next. And that's a Coastal product. And as you know, Coastal can be a security window also, not just a storm protection window. So it's an incredible deal. I'm excited about it. I'm kind of worried how we're going to see everybody, but we'll make it happen.
I love it. So a lot of times, though, your windows do need work. But here's what's going on. What we've noticed about people we've sent to renewal is the electricity bills have come down so much once they put the new windows that they pay for themselves.
Oh yeah, yes, they do. You take your house; it's roughly about 28 to 30% glass. Mm-hmm. And you have sun hitting 3 sides of your house. If you don't stop that sun from coming in, your electric bill will never slow down. By putting a Renewal by Andersen window in there, you can save anywhere from 25 to 40% in your electric bill. You put that in with your payment. 10 years, your windows you're making more on your return with us than you are with investments.
Well, Dan, great job. Call Renewal by Andersen or hit the QR code on your screen now.
The proceeding was a paid advertisement. The views expressed were the sole responsibility of the advertiser.